John Walker gets discharged. Falcon and the Winter Soldier play catch in the park, and Falcon leaves his wings to pick up a shield. All this and more on this week's episode of Dweeb Cultures review of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey guys, what is going on? This is Michael, and this is Dweeb Culture coming at you with another episode, another review of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. As always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mitch, the Dweeb.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And we have Cole, the Dweeb.
What's up, guys?
Alrighty, so this was a big episode for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The ending of the last episode, we did see Captain America kind of go berserk and kill someone in plain view of all the public and the fans with the phones and video recording and everything. So we get to see the fallout and kind of the progression of the storyline for this episode. This episode, we're going to go ahead and do just the quick beats of the episode, and then I believe Mitch has a few questions he wants to ask us at the end of the episode just to stir some kind of discussion. But this week episode does open up with Captain America running away from the scene of the crime, going into the warehouse, which I think was the same warehouse that we saw a few episodes ago?
Seriously, it's like this show has unlimited supply of abandoned warehouses.
I know, like I feel like it was the same episode from the same warehouse from when they first encountered the Resistance. And then it was like basically the same warehouse that the last fight scene was in, where Lamar died. And so I feel like there's just I don't know why they have limited resources there.
They most likely shot everything in the same same warehouse,
same set from different angles. No, they're definitely using the abandoned warehouse look a lot. Apparently, Lithuania. Nothing but abandoned warehouses.
Nothing but abandoned warehouses. Okay, so super cool. We get to start off this show with one of the coolest fight scenes that we've had so far, which is Captain America versus Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is super duper cool. I'm going to be honest. Winter Soldier and the Falcon did a lot worse in this fight than I thought they were going to do.
Yeah, right? I mean, like, I was thinking back to, like, the Winter Soldier fighting Captain America and how it was so much harder for Captain America.
Yeah,
Like, Steve Rogers, Captain America. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, really?
So the only thing I was possibly thinking during this whole time was Captain America. John Walker. Now he hasn't had powers this whole time, so he had to train extra hard and be extra good with his training in order to kind of compete with anybody on this level. So then when he got added the superpowers, that really helped him out. But then on the other hand, he just got those superpowers. And he already knows his body's limits and knows how to use them already.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of Man of Steel. Man of Steel, Superman, no real formal fight training, just relies on his superpowers. General Zod, an actual Kryptonian warrior, comes to the planet, develop powers, and then becomes the most difficult threat for Superman, right? Yeah. I think you probably hit the nail right on the head, Michael. We're talking about a person who was Captain America just as a normal human, not but an episode ago. Highly trained, very decorated soldier. They did that little montage with him in like the second episode where he's throwing the shield and training and fighting. And although he was defeated by the Wakandans and the Flag Smashers before he had Super Soldier Serum, I think what it tries to insinuate is Super Soldier Serum is really what pushes him past his limits to now being a real considerable threat. And then we do have to remember also, it's not really been made exactly clear what Bucky retains as Bucky as opposed to the Winter Soldier. It's possible that in his brainwashed super assassin state, he's just more effective of a combatant than now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe it was the Winter Soldier that was a really good fighter, and Bucky is just, Yeah.
But I will remind you of like Civil War, like when Iron Man's trying to kill him, he's like, "Do you even remember them?" He's like, "I remember all of them." So
So maybe he
there's
remembers
that.
his training too. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, that I feel like that Cole. That is a very good point. I feel like Bucky's integration with the Winter Soldier is kind of spotty at best. Like, what does he remember? What doesn't he remember? That whole type of thing. At one point, so during this awesome fight scene, where Falcon's definitely hanging with his own. I mean, he's using those. I mean, I think it's really cool because he uses the wings as an extension of himself. He uses them as like extra arms that he has. Like he really knows, whoever the choreography person is really understands that Sam understands how to use his gear. Right, because it's a life or death situation for him, so he knows how to use it.
Yeah, he uses his jetpack to accelerate his punches and all
that.
Yeah, he's pretty sick.
His tech gives him that edge that kind of makes up for not having a super soldier serum.
Definitely, and he uses it kind of like how I imagine Octopus, right, from Doc Ock from Octopus. Doc Ock from Spider-Man. He has those extra tentacles, and they kind of operate like they're just extra appendages, right? It's kind of like that way with the Falcon, where how he uses his wings. At one point, I don't know if you guys remember this, but at one point, Captain America John Walker was gonna kill Sam the same way he killed the other guy. Like he had his shield up, it was just about to pass on him again.
Yep.
And then this time,
no, John, you're not thinking straight.
Serious. I'm like, dude, okay, this is just a regular person. So like, if John Walker was able to kill a super soldier that way, would he have just cut Sam clean in half? Like, what would have happened there?
I think at the point now, that move, the shield down edge thrust, is like WWE fighters move. That's like The Rock dropping the people's elbow. You know what I mean? It's just, this is my go-to. It has a lot of fanfare. Here we go.
Oh yeah. I definitely think that's going to be a staple move. And what are all the Marvel Alliance, the Marvel Alliance video games? I definitely think they're now going to integrate a move with Captain America just going down on the shield like that. Yeah. But luckily this time, Winter Soldier's there and tackles John Walker to the ground before he can cut Sam clean in half. So that fight ends. And it basically ends with Winter Soldier picking up the shield and then dropping it off to Falcon, who's laying on the floor and hurt, and obviously he's not a super soldier. So,
well, somehow them dragging the shield off his arm injures his arm greatly to where John Walker's in a brace the rest of the episode.
So what I remember seeing was, it was him holding onto the shield and then Winter Soldier pulling on it and then Falcon also pulling on it with his thrust, and then it actually snapped his arm in half. Yeah. Like it broke his arm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they broke his arm. That's how they got it.
Yeah, so like you could see it, like the arm like literally just like disconnects. Like it looks like a broken arm.
That went fast then. I didn't notice that. I just kind of remember in the previous episode that a Wakanda spear cut just leather straps. That's all it is that holds it to his arm. And yet somehow, okay. All right, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, no, anyways, he actually broke his arm and got bent backwards. Super cool fight. I thought it was really cool. After that, we kind of do a few things. And then we kind of get to a point where John Walker is now in front of the council after kind of being disciplined by what was that? What board would that have been?
It was the Senate. Like he was talking to senators.
He was talking to Senate, I guess.
It seemed to be some sort of Senate committee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in this scene, they essentially dishonorably discharged. They told him they were going to dishonorably discharge him, but they essentially dishonorably discharged him.
Yeah, he's discharged. It's an other than honorable discharge. So
no titles, nada.
Doesn't prevent him from owning a firearm or anything that dishonorable discharge does, but it's also not going to reflect well on his employment record.
Yeah, when he applies for his next job. So they also said no benefits, which I think that's kind of messed up. Like, he's been a lifelong soldier, and then because of this one action, he's not going to receive any benefits or anything from the government. Like, I feel like, come on, he's at least earned health care or something like that,
In theory, he just committed a war crime and is not being charged with anything, so maybe he got cut a break.
Well, that's what they literally, you are literally saying what they told him on the way. You consider yourself lucky, at the end of it. And then John Walker is approached by this woman, Val, who seems to be some type of superhero team coalition person.
Lane Venice has risen up in the ranks.
From her brief exchange of words, I got the impression she runs a kind of shadow ops intelligence agency under the government, and she's enlisting his aid. I think for fans of the comics, this is significant. I'm not going to give any possible spoilers, but you should know, as I don't know if you guys have any history specifically in the comics with John Walker himself, but this storyline in this show has been very consistent with his origin story in the comics. Very consistent.
Okay.
So some of the actions that have happened, including his other than honorable discharge leading into what I presume this agency to be, is consistent with the comics. So fans of the comics should like that. I know I'm excited for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea what that whole thing was, but it seems like that's going to be a major player coming later on.
Yeah.
After this, we get to a really cool scene where they find Zemo. I guess so in the last episode, Zemo kind of just bounced in the middle of a Wakanda fight, and we didn't see him again. Well, now we see him again, and he is at the memorial of the Sokovian memorial of, I guess, his people, right? I'm still not totally convinced that he's always been royalty, but I guess I will just have to go back to Civil War in order to see that. But so he's looking at the memorial tribute to his people in Sokovia, and then the Winter Soldier pops up. And I think Winter Soldier knows that he's there because of because of the earlier conversation. He's like, I guess you guys never visited the memorial, so I guess that gives him the idea that he's at the memorial. In any case, so he gets there. He's looking like he's about to kill Zemo, which probably wouldn't be the worst move.
It was just a cheesy scene.
It was.
I'm gonna pull the trigger. Click. Yeah. I'm not who you think I am.
Yep.
Turning you into the Wakandans.
Okay.
We get it.
And also, I really don't think in that scenario, Winter Soldier even needs a gun. Like,
yeah, no.
I was thinking that the whole time. I'm like, dude, you appearing is a big enough threat. I don't think you need a handheld in your.
Hey, I don't like it. He's always had a gun up until this show, and as we've already talked about, now they're like, hey, this is Disney Plus. Kids are watching this. Falcon doesn't need any weapons. Winter Soldier doesn't need any weapons. I don't like it. I like Winter Soldier with an AR.
Oh yeah, and the one weapon that Winter Soldier does have, it's empty, and he throws the bullets away.
Yep.
In any case, so he pulls the trigger, nothing's there, and he hands him over to the Wakandans. And what do you guys think the Wakandans are? What do you think that whole situation is going to be like for him?
Not too great.
I don't know. I have a really hard time believing that. I have a hard time believing this is the end of Zemo. I'm sure we'll see more of him.
Yeah,
but if we don't see him, I mean, that's what it left us with thinking. It's like, okay, he's going to Wakanda prison. We're not going to see him again. And if that's the case, that nips my power broker theory to the.
It does seem like a resolved storyline, like in the large spider web of storylines. It almost seems like this one has come to an end,
and
but
really one of the only storylines that has come to an end in that type of fashion.
It's true.
Okay, cool. So wait, just to be clear, the Wakandans want him for his because he blew up the UN, right, and killed the Wakanda
previous
leader.
king.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're gonna hold him on. Well, probably not on trial, but they're gonna hold him on. They're gonna
in their jail. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why they want him. Okay, fair enough. That's a pretty long grudge. They've been mad at him for a while, and they finally, I guess, had their chance.
Wow.
I feel like they would have wanted to try to capture him before Winter Soldier broke him out of jail. I don't know what they were doing in the meantime.
I have to imagine. I mean, it's just kind of odd, but it's so hard to imagine this world after half the population was gone for 5 years. You know what I mean? So, I mean, obviously, we don't want that to be the focus of this show, and we could spend, heck, 6 episodes just talking about that. But I think we have to remember that for some people, no time has passed at all. For other people, seems like a long time. So
that's a good point.
You know, particularly the character Ao, who we saw is kind of the leader of that group of warrior Amazon women. She was, I believe, around, wasn't she? She was not dusted. Do you remember?
Not what?
I can't recall.
I don't think she was killed in the snap.
I can't recall.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I know Black Panther was.
Black Panther was, but I don't think that she was. I mean, you know,
I think what was the sister? I know somebody important was. Yeah. It was either Ao or it was the sister. I can't remember who it was, but I think somebody got dusted. In any case, all right. So we're moving on to, and then a lot of this episode. So that's pretty much the majority of the fighting. Any of the action scenes that have happened. The rest of the episode is more kind of development, kind of personal development, which we're getting back into. We kind of, and then the more notable is we saw Sam is now back in his hometown with his sister, and they're they're working on the boat. And to me, this episode kind of solidified a question that we had a few episodes ago. So as you recall, the dynamic between Sam and his sister was, you know, we thought maybe he had money, maybe he didn't have money. We didn't really know what the situation was, but in any case, we knew that the sister didn't really want his help, you know, for that whole thing. In this episode, I got the impression, okay, Sam is broke.
Like, Sam does not have money.
And I don't understand. I don't understand how that's possible. Like, again, Mitch, you made a good point about a few episodes ago. He controls millions of dollars in tech.
Probably billions.
Probably billions. And he's broke. Like, he cannot do anything to save his family's boat business, you know?
I mean, to be honest, that's actually a liability for the government. Like, it's a liability for the government to trust that degree of expensive military tech in the hands of somebody that's not financially stable. It's irresponsible of the government to not pay him a high wage. He should have incentive beyond the call to duty to keep those military secrets.
Absolutely. Like, how easy would it be for a forward power to be like, hey, I will give you $50 million if you hand over your wings, or, you know, just give us some information.
Or just let us get the schematics. You can keep them. Yeah, pretty right. And yes, I know.
Not to mention just a consideration of the soldier, you know, having his mind only on the mission, you know, opposed to, you know, dealing with his sister stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things where we have to suspend disbelief and go, all right, this is how it is.
This is what's happening.
Yeah. He's broke. So, like, on one hand, you know, he's this broke person trying to find a way to save his family business with his sister. And on the other hand, you know, he's a superhero saving worlds and doing all these things. Yeah, and it's not like he has a hidden identity. It's not like it's Clark Kent versus Batman or Superman, right? Where Superman has all this fame and glory, but nobody knows who Clark Kent is. No, Sam and they're one and the same. And even when he calls, he says, you know, how many favors does mom and dad have? Oh, okay, let me call people to see, you know, if we can cash in those favors. Like, everyone knows he's the Falcon. Like, this is one of those things. This is one of the misses.
Disbelief.
This is one of the misses for me. Okay, so after we find out, depressingly, that Sam is broke, we see John visit Lamar's family. And this was kind of a developing point for John.
Yeah, it's kind of like salt in the wound for him, like that whole talk.
It's also a great motivation point for him in figuring out where his mind's at, because he doubles down on the lie that the man he killed is the one that killed Lamar.
That's a good point.
He's not. Carly killed Lamar.
Yeah.
But when he doubles down and explains to the family, yep, that's why I killed him. He killed Lamar. and they accept him for it, saying, thank you for finding justice for our son, your best friend, who loved you and was so excited for all the opportunities you're getting. And, I think we have the impression already that, Lamar, Battlestar, was a good dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he just seemed like a good all-around dude. He died trying to save his best friend's life. He didn't know his best friend didn't need it, right? But he died trying to. And this is obviously going to be a major motivation for John Walker, who still sees himself as Captain America, which I think the end credit scene makes pretty clear.
Yes.
Which he even says
himself. I am Captain America. He said that talking to the Senate, right?
Yeah. So this kind of cemented it. Now, not only does he have a genuine desire for vengeance and justice because his friend was killed, but he just lied to his friend's parents. He has more motive than ever because of guilt now. Hey, I have to capture Carly. I have to find justice for Lamar.
Find real justice
to be honest,
for Lamar.
Probably not capture Carly. Probably kill her.
Yeah. It kind of seems where he's headed. Very true. Okay, so this is a scene that kind of confused me a little bit. They threw this in there. They sprinkled it in. It was only like a minute-long scene, but it featured Sharon. Right. Sharon called somebody and said, hey, can you do me a favor? That type of thing. Did you guys pick up on that? Like that kind of,
it wasn't clear what it was alluding to, really. It was like, it could have been her, like, it sounded like she was like calling one of her underground, art dealer people or something. But, to me, it wasn't clear what it was alluding to.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Maybe they just threw that in there just to show that, she has yet to play a part and she is doing something behind the scenes.
Yeah, very true. I was just curious if you guys had any inside information about that, because I have no idea what to expect from that. I don't even know what she would have been talking about.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, if Mitch doesn't know, then no one knows.
If Mitch doesn't know, then nobody knows. So we're going to move on to one of the coolest scenes throughout the entire series. And this is probably my favorite scene, just from a visual point of view, just from a really cool, like, this is what they're doing point of view. And this is Winter Soldier and the Falcon practicing with the shield by the lake, throwing it at the trees, bouncing off. And this answered a question for me that I didn't even know I had. And this question is, Captain America was absolutely amazing. Steve Rogers, absolutely amazing. He could do things with that shield that is incredible. Apparently, anyone could do that stuff with that shield.
It's actually designed to be thrown and bounce back to you. Yeah, I kind of realized that too as he was doing it. I was like, oh.
Which kind of bummed me out a little bit.
It's like a frisbee.
Lie. Yeah, it's like a frisbee. It hits things and then comes back, which actually makes sense because, if you, I mean, Mitch, you can correct me on this because you're a bigger comic book person than I am. But it's vibranium, right? So vibranium is basically an aside from adamantium, which is adamantium is from Marvel, the original Marvel. They can't use adamantium because adamantium is from the X-Men world and Sony owns those rights, so they came up with the
anymore.
Not anymore,
yeah. But Century owned the rights, but now Disney does.
Yeah, cool. So they came up with the term vibranium instead of adamantium, which is what Wolverine is made out of. And
technically, vibranium is canon. The shield is made out of vibranium. Adamantium is actually like a vibranium knockoff.
Oh, really? See, yeah. I thought they made vibranium up out of whole cloth.
No, vibranium is the only metal stronger than adamantium.
Really? Okay, yeah. I did not know that. Well, so the thing I do know about adamantium is that in theory, it so then I guess also obviously vibranium is that in theory it can reflect 100% of the kinetic energy that it absorbs. So I guess it makes sense that if you throw it at something, it's going to come back the exact same trajectory that it was thrown. So the fact that they're just bouncing it around trees and stuff and it comes right back to them technically makes sense, because if you throw a frisbee at a tree, the kinetic energy is absorbed by the tree and it loses its energy. But if it's completely displaced and reflects back, it would go back the same trajectory. So I guess in theory, yes, anyone could use it if they're strong enough to wield it.
Yeah, they explain that in the original Captain America, and we see it during the first Avengers when Thor's hammer hits the shield and it causes that dispersal of energy.
Yes, exactly. But that still also kind of takes some of the shock and awe out of the notion, where you saw, like the Winter Soldier, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where Captain America's on the boat and he's throwing his shield around and it's bouncing back to him. I just thought that was super cool. Like, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's Captain America's thing. But apparently anyone could do that.
Yeah. I like the fact that there were 2 montages in this episode too. The montage of Bucky helping out with the boat, and then that montage of
of him working on it so he can become Captain
training
America.
and everything.
Yeah. There were the couple of montages came. It was literally a montage, like a Rocky style. I'm gonna work at this till I get better. It was like that whole montage. But by the end of the montage, he does get a lot better, and so now I think we can accept him as the as he's fit to be Captain America with the shield. But yeah, so I thought that was really cool. You guys like that scene, I presume?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it just gives us a glimpse of Sam's intentions too. It's like, is he gonna? I assume he's not gonna go to the government or anything and say, "Yeah, I got the shield. I'm the new Captain America."
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
so,
he's just gonna hunt down Carly, take care of business.
That's another thing that's interesting to me is Sam and Bucky's relationship with the government. It seems to be they can use the government to get into facilities when it's convenient, and then they're not a part of the government at all, other than the times that it's convenient for them, which is
it's
like that's just the Avengers.
Yeah, that's like the immunity of the Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Go ahead.
With, obviously there's a lot of importance in him taking the shield. We've had character development with it. He's questioned whether or not he wants the shield. At one point he said he was going to destroy it. Now he's kind of embraced it. It's a big character growth moment for him, especially with the conversations with him and Isaiah from beforehand. But specifically with this, just because we're on the topic now and I'll get into it, it does seem to give some closure to the who's going to be Captain America sort of conversation. Definitely. Because, we know in the comics at least that both Bucky and Sam have been Captain America at one time or another. Bucky showed an interest in the shield in a previous episode, and now it's pretty much been solidified. Hey, I think Bucky even says he and Steve talked about it and both agreed that Sam should be the next Captain America. Right. And Sam's now embracing that role. And everything that means for him on a personal level. But it does pose the question for me, the heck are we going to do with Winter Soldier? Because he seems to just be a dude in a blue jacket with a metal arm now. Well, I felt like Falcon already had a pretty cool theme. And Winter Soldier's just Robo-Cyborg dude. There you go.
Well, to me, that ending part with them partying and everything, Sam giving him, the talk and everything, it gave room to, insinuate that, okay, the Winter Soldier is the potential next runner-up Captain America. Because he's getting his stuff straight. Sam says, do the work, be a real good person. Make people's lives a better place, or people's lives a better
place. Well, Sam actually does what he's best at, which I totally forgot that Sam did. Sam used to run a PTSD clinic, and he actually gives soldier to soldier good advice that the therapist was not able to give Bucky. That it seems like Bucky has the intent of following up on, with actually making amends with the actual people he did wrong, not just arresting the people that he enabled by being the Winter Soldier. So I thought that was cool. As a little hint, because I honestly don't think it's going to go this way. It's the only reason why I'm bringing it up. They referred to Bucky in Wakanda as the White Wolf. I don't remember if it was in the comics or a cartoon, but the White Wolf is actually a Wakandan character similar to the Black Panther, where he wears a all white suit and a wolf themed mask, and is like a Wakandan superhero.
So maybe he becomes the White Wolf after this, like his
I would
character.
be very curious to see if he actually adorns like a Black Panther style suit.
That'd be really funny.
I think it'd be a little ridiculous, to be honest.
Definitely.
But to be honest, though, the whole man in the jacket with a metal arm thing is also kind of ridiculous. So I really hope that they develop him more and give him a unique identity.
Yeah.
Fair.
Same.
Okay, so we see that Sam is no longer Sarah, Sam's sister, is no longer going to sell the boat. Sam, and then we see
also a possible love interest for Bucky.
Also, possible love interest for Bucky, which is really funny, and I hope they pursue that, because the really funny part, of that is that it would turn. So okay, so you know how the therapist scene from a few or the marriage counseling scene from a few episodes ago, that was kind of forced and wasn't set up that great. I think you can have the same type of back and forth, the same type of rivalry. If Bucky is interested in Sam's sister, then that would be a funny back and forth, and that would work for the actual show instead of just forced. So the quips that they had where Bucky's looking at her adorned, and then Falcon looks at him, he's like, what's going on here? That was really funny. I really liked that.
It was very funny, and their chemistry was pretty electric, which I liked.
It really was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was. I thought it was really good. He's like, hey, don't hit on my sister. That's hilarious. That's really good. I hope they pursue that, because that would be a good storyline. I think that'd be really funny. And then one of my favorite characters that aren't like the superheroes made their entrance in, George St. Pierre. Was in this episode, which I was not expecting him to be. Cole's looking at me like he's doesn't know who this is. This is the UFC fighter. This is the guy that met with Carly in the park to give her the ammunitions. Yeah. So that guy. So remember he was also from the first episode, but he was also from the Winter Soldier. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. He was on the boat. He had a big fight scene with Steve Rogers on the boat. So that's a really cool soldier. That's a really cool.
And is also the former welterweight and middleweight world champion of the UFC, possibly the greatest of all time fighter.
Yep.
Just saying.
So you could definitely know that he's doing his own stunts, because he could absolutely do them. But yeah, so his kicks. We could have an episode just dedicated to the choreography in the Winter Soldier, that opening scene.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, so and then at some point he says, I'm not going to be a part of your war, and then we see Carly kind of going a little bit more extreme and a little bit more dark. And I know Mitch has a cool question for us at the end of the episode, possibly about this progression. So that's going to be a big thing. Is now we're kind of seeing Carly take the role of the villain,
and now she's in New York.
And then speaking of New York, that's when Falcon saw, with the help of what's his name? I can't remember his the military, the army person,
army guy number
Torres. Yep, with the help of Torres, found out that there was going to be something that might be happening in New York, and at the same time, a vote for what was the vote for? The vote was for the new GRC leader, whatever. The new GRC leader,
the refugee program.
Yeah, the vote was for something. In any case, we saw at the end that kind of got taken over, and it seems like it was the Flag Smashers that kind of did that, is what it kind of seems like. And then we see Falcon opening up a chest at the very end of the episode. I don't know what's in that chest.
Vibranium wings. Vibranium wings.
I was thinking it was going to be wings, but he pulled the shield. So he seems like he's going to be transitioning into Captain America. So is it a Captain America suit, maybe?
So they did say, or Bucky did say, a gift from Wakanda, but there was a heavy implication that this is his replacement suit.
For Falcon,
For-
not for Captain America. See, we don't know.
Whatever the new Falcon is, whatever it is.
Okay.
It's a very convenient way of introducing Falcon's acceptance of the Captain America role, because, and this doesn't even require real, spoilers, but we've already talked about how in the comics both Bucky and Falcon are Captain America at once.
Yeah.
Bucky gets a true Captain America costume and shield and is Captain America. He just has a metal arm and a gun. But Falcon, when he's Captain America, is kind of a hybrid. Yeah. Hybrid Falcon, hybrid Captain America. We have to assume that's what this is.
Maybe. We don't know, though. We don't want to give spoilers to everybody. This could be a Captain America suit. It could be a Falcon suit. True. We don't know. True. We don't know. They've been going different ways.
I have to hope that it's a unique look because, personal opinion here, but I'm of the opinion that Sam as Captain America in the comics looked real dumb. So I'm really hoping that
they gave him a cooler
this is
suit.
A cooler take on the outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get a closing after credit scene. Apparently this is the second one. I didn't see the first one, evidently, of
the first one was Sam opening the chest.
No, that was the end of the episode. This is the first ending credit scene that I've seen. Apparently, Cole, you said you saw one with a WandaVision with Wanda in the park.
Yeah. Well, no. Sorry, you.
Oh, that wasn't part of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I was just talking about the end credit scene of the last episode of WandaVision.
Oh, okay. So this is the first end credit scene that we have in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I believe. This end credit scene shows John Walker creating what is assumed to be vibranium, but it could be vibranium, could not be.
No,
I assume
it wouldn't be vibranium. No.
I think it could be. Like, why would he create a steel shield?
So just pose as Captain America. Yeah. Just pose as Captain America because he thinks he's Captain America, but how would he get his hands on vibranium that fast?
Because of the girl.
Unless he called up the Val. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because of Val. Okay. I think Val supplied him with vibranium,
that's a good point.
And I think he's making a vibranium shield now.
But wouldn't they make it for him, though? Like, what, they
just
gave him a bunch of scraps of vibranium?
That's true. That's what I would think, but I don't think you're going to have John Walker just go out and make his own steel shield by himself.
I think that's exactly what he did.
Okay, fair enough, then.
I don't know. We'll see. He only needs it to be steel to do his frickin' jaw move. So
he just needs really sharp edges is all he needs. But yeah, so that's that was the episode. What you guys, just quick thoughts of the episode overall, and then we'll kick it off to Mitch for some questions. Cool.
You start off.
I thought it was overall, it was kind of refreshing. Just because, like, with all these episodes, it's boom, 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 boom. They're doing this right off the bat. And they kind of continue to do that, taking off immediately after where the last episode left off. And but then it gives us kind of like a resting period of, fallout and where are they? And Carly's off the map, can't find her. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, an intermission of the season. Because it's basically halfway through. And so it's the next stage of our heroes. They've made progress psychologically, for sure. Sam is willing to take up the Captain America mantle. And meanwhile, Carly is planning this huge terrorist plot that we...
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of these episodes have been very quick paced. Has been very fast. And this one's been a little bit slower, a little bit more character development. And I like that. I think it's good storytelling. That's typically, the way Disney does it. And so I like that. They're not used to the super duper fast paced. So I do like that it's slowing down. A little curious about the direction that it's going to be taking in the future. But we will see. Mitch?
So I don't know how this escaped me, but I actually just looked it up a moment ago. This was the penultimate episode. This is a 6-episode season.
What?
Yeah. So I kind of operated under the same assumption as WandaVision. I'm like, it's going to be 8 or 10 episodes. Nope. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a 6-episode season. So
and this was episode 5.
This is episode 5. This is actually the penultimate episode. So
Oh man,
I think
I was
that's
dead
why
wrong.
we get an end credit scene. That's why there's so heavy foreshadowing going into the next episode. I can tell you this. There's things about this show that I've enjoyed a lot. I'm really excited that the MCU is fired up again. For us in particular, the MCU has been an important staple that we as friends have experienced together as long as we've known each other. But on a personal level, I feel so far the Falcon and Winter Soldier has been a big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I like the development between Falcon and Winter Soldier themselves. I like that it's themed around the fall of Captain America. But as I'll ask you guys very quickly here as I start getting into my questions, the villains are completely
Yeah.
ignorable to me. Not even a lasting impact.
Yeah.
If we took all 22 movies in the Marvel MCU and ranked the villains, Flag Smasher would be
Dead
about
last.
at the bottom,
Dead
maybe
last.
tied with the Dark Elves from Thor 2 for me. I really just don't care about him at all. I do like the Captain America storyline. I do like the reintroduction of Zemo.
Yeah, I agree.
Under the light of knowing that the next episode is the finale, we're probably not going to see Zemo again. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I imagine the power broker is not going to be revealed, but if
Right.
not, which I don't think that he's even revealed in the comics, at least not one that I've read, I would hope for a second season to further pursue this storyline. I think it's important that moving forward, Marvel does keep some content in the form of like short episode seasons. Episodic content is actually a really good way to dive into characters beyond what a movie is capable of doing. And I think it's done a lot for character development for this show in particular. But overall, it's left a lukewarm feeling with me, a kind of middling taste in my mouth with how the season's been. There's definitely been things I've loved. I know we've all loved the action scenes. They've all been very cool.
Yeah.
But
the story's progressing a little too fast for, I think, for me at least, to care a ton about the villains.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that part.
Yeah.
It's like, because, yeah, we've talked about, like, Carly so many times about, being childish. And,
Yeah.
And
it's focusing on
no
things.
mastermind.
It's
really.
focusing on things I wouldn't focus on, and it's ignoring things that I would focus on. Like, I think the development of, I think I would have loved to see more about John Walker, to be honest. I think that was an interesting character. Like, seeing his rise and fall, like him turning into a villain. I think focusing more on John Walker, I feel like would have been a good, because he's essentially the turned villain of the story. We're focusing a lot on Carly, which maybe there's a redemption storyline in there for her, which was what they're working towards. But honestly, she's back and forth, and now she's killed people, and now she's bad again. She's good. Like, and she's ahead of a regime, right? Like the Flag Smashers with the super soldiers, where they've done a couple things, but they've really just been dormant. It's been a lot of politics that have been playing into this season, mixed with some action and adventure, and so I feel like they ignored a couple of the storylines that I would have followed, and they followed a couple of storylines that I would have ignored. Anyway, Mitch, why don't we go ahead and get to a couple of your questions here? We have about 10 minutes before we hit too long, so let's see what we can burn through.
Well, we've answered a couple of them already. We talked about the direction of Bucky specifically, and if he's going to get an identity or not. I'm hoping he does. I want to see more from him than just the Winter Soldier identity, because he's really not the Winter Soldier anymore. I mean, he said it himself with the own words from his mouth. We just talked about Carly and kind of how you guys stand for her as a villain. I know I told you my opinion. I rank her about near the bottom of MCU villains. Yeah. Just don't really care much.
Sure.
Do either of you guys have a different opinion, or are you feeling about the same?
Only that we can, I think we can throw out the redemption theory for her. I mean, she is solely a bad guy now. I mean, once she's in a jail cell, she can be redeemed or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. Carly, like, I think she's an interesting character. I don't think villain of the show is the right place for her. I think, at least as like the focused villain of the show. Because if you had to name a villain of the show right now, who is it? It's Carly, right? Like she's
Yeah.
the main villain.
Yeah,
Right?
they don't have enough time to introduce the power broker now.
That's what
that
I'm saying.
was just
Yeah,
a secondary
exactly.
villain.
So she's been the villain of the show, of the entire show. She was introduced in the first, maybe second episode, and she's been featured in the whole time. She's had a bunch of screen time. I think she's good. She's a good character. I would like to see her in a different role other than villain. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe somebody who followed the Avengers and is now having second dots. I feel like I like the character. I just feel like her backstory could have been different, and so she would play a better role in this grand scheme of things.
Like, this is not a spoiler. This is just my opinion. I don't think they're gonna leave 10 possible super soldier serum subjects out as like loose ends. I'm pretty sure they all get killed.
Yeah, I would imagine they all die.
The flag
like, now that you mention
dead,
that,
the
I
only
imagine they
super
all
soldier
die.
serum.
Maybe all in New York. Maybe there's a big explosion and it just kills everybody. See, but you have to do it in such a way. So since we, as the audience, know these characters-ish, you have to do it in such a way where when they die, we don't feel badly or we don't think ill of the Falcon or the Winter Soldier, who would be the main people to kill them, right? Or maybe it's Captain America. Maybe it's John Walker that goes and just kills all of them. And then John Walker dies at the end, so there's no redemption needed for anybody because they're all dead, right?
Yeah.
I'll also point out they die of their own incident, their own bomb, whatever, something.
Or maybe they die because the super soldier serum is like poison, essentially, eventually.
Yeah. But
a lot of possibilities.
I'll also point out though that like I think we have like 3 main players that are behind the scenes. Blonde love interest to the Steve Rogers. Sharon, the Val character who's trying to sponsor this new Captain America, and the power broker.
Yeah.
I think they're all like seeing the grander picture of things somehow, and yeah,
that's a good point.
All right, so my final question, guys. It would seem that Falcon is going to assume the role of the new Captain America. Do you think that he'll be accepted by the public as Captain America? Do you think that the government, which just tried to reclaim the shield from John Walker, is going to make any sort of demands of the shield back from him? How do you guys feel about this?
Go ahead, Cole.
All right. So I think, everyone loves the Falcon. He's an Avenger, right? He saved the world. So I think they will embrace him. And if they ask for the shield back, you can just go all Steve Rogers and say, nope, see you guys later, and fall off the map, just go off somewhere with the shield and say, gotta do what's right. Yeah. But as far as like the politics go, they would see the mass approval of the Falcon being the new Captain America, I feel. Because, throughout the entire show, we've seen people like, oh, the Falcon, he's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I think overall they would accept him.
See, this is a really difficult question for me because the government just established a new Captain America, right? Earlier in this season, right? 4 episodes ago, there was a new Captain America. Introduced to the whole world, made a whole big thing of it, interviews on ABC, all this stuff, made government announcements. This is the new Captain America. Awesome. And then what? In a matter of a couple weeks later, maybe this whole series takes place over a couple weeks. I don't know. A couple weeks later, there's video footage of him killing somebody in cold blood in the street. I don't think that the public now is keen on Captain America. So Captain America does this, this tarnishes the name, and then they're going to put out, Sam, like, hey, we have a new Captain America. I don't know. Like, I'm like, dude, I feel like the public's going to be like, look what happened to your last Captain America. You're just gonna make is that how this works? You're just gonna name somebody Captain America, and we're just gonna say he's Captain America, and we're all gonna like, I don't know what the redemption is for the name of Captain America. I feel like the name of Captain America, the title of Captain America, got completely diminished because of this viral episode. Oh, by the way, quick point. I really wanted there to be a much bigger fallout of John Walker's the end scene. I feel like I got shorthanded from that last scene because they made it a big point to be like, oh, people have cameras and they're watching this. I wanted to see the fallout of that. What did people think? What were the news stories about it? Like, I wanted to see what, because we saw the whole thing, right? Was he justified in it? Probably not, but like, we understand why he did it, you know? But I want to see what the media's response to it was, what the people's response to it was. But they blew over all of that and just went straight to the Senate hearing. You're not Captain America anymore. Done. That's the end of that deal. And
I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But also, like, I'm also wondering, like, why isn't Sam and the Winter Soldier, Bucky, being, like, you know, reprimanded, you know, by the government? Like, how come there's like no debriefs that we see, really? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he was hanging in the army bunker for a short period talking to that one guy. Yeah. But, like, yeah, you really don't see, like, the government talking to Sam at all.
No. But anyway, Mitch, to get back to your original question, will they accept it? I don't know that the public will accept a new Captain America regardless of who it is. Doesn't matter who it is. Just the name Captain America, I feel like, has been tarnished because after the fall of Steve Rogers, everyone put their new hope into a new Captain America. He gets there 2 weeks later, he's busting some dude's, you know, chest open. Right, so I think the name of Captain America has gotten tarnished in the public's eyes. As far as the authorities go, I think it'll be just like anything else, right? Some authorities will say no, you know, and then some authorities will say yes. And I think ultimately Sam is going to become Captain America moving forward. There's probably going to be some adversity there. But I think realistically, I don't think in a real world the public would accept a new Captain America regardless of anybody who it is. But I think in this world, I think they will. All that being said, I think it'll be perfectly fine.
I think that this episode really gave us an out that we hadn't considered yet, which is Val says to John Walker, the government doesn't really own the shield. It's kind of up for contesting, right? And I think that's what's going to happen. I think in this next episode, we'll probably see is Sam as the new Captain America, maybe John Walker in a Captain America suit with a new shield, some sort of ultimate fight showdown between the two Captain Americas. Sam declares himself the new Captain America. The people love it because they love him as an Avengers. The government doesn't love it because they want a Captain America that they can rule under their thumb and control the way that they could with John Walker.
And you're not going to be able to do that. And that was the best thing about Steve Rogers is that he wasn't controllable under the thumb. He had his own internal, and I feel like Sam has that same internal morality.
I think so, and I think he also has the leverage of Isaiah's story on his part to really earn him, hey, I know this is me. I'm doing things for the right reasons. No one can trust you because XYZ, and boom, there we go. Sure. I'm the new Captain America. And I think between that, he'll be able to discredit the naysayers that would want a Captain America under their control and establish himself similar to Steve Rogers, just like you said, as a Captain America that operates off of the original idea of America rather than actually under control of the American government, which is what Steve Rogers was, right? So
what is generally
we'll see.
right.
We'll see how it goes. Finale next week.
Yeah, finale next week, guys. This is going to be the end of the first season, right? So it's assumed that there's going to be multiple seasons of the show?
I'm hoping. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we will, in any case, we will see what comes of it next week. Maybe this might be a one and done, and then they continue the storyline in big budget motion pictures.
This is the most streamed show on Disney Plus since it came out, though. So now that we know that, even more than the Mandalorian, they have a lot of incentive. If you look at the Mandalorian was highly watched, and they're spinning off like 12 shows from it. Sure. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think there's a really good chance that it's renewed for a second season.
Maybe Zemo gets his own show after this.
Yeah, Baron Zemo and the Winter Soldier.
Him escaping Wakanda and having his own adventures. But
about-
also, can you think about it? Like, so obviously this is going to change the course of the MCU, and another movie is going to come out before the next season comes out. So think about this, like, in our timeline, it makes sense. Like, oh yeah, great, this stuff happened in this movie, and now the second season is going to be like this because now this is the world. But if you're 5 years from now watching this show and you're watching it, and then something happens, and then the next show, the premise is completely different because of what happened to the movies in between, that's going to be a completely disjointed series to watch.
Welcome to comic book reading, bro.
Yeah.
You read Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all sequential. You read Spider-Man 5, and it's like, I hope you tuned in to Dr. Octopus 6 to catch the previous story.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't read. And that's why I don't read. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, for sticking in there with us. We're trying to make this short. These are not short because there's so much to talk about. This is just as long as any other episode that we've done. We are trying to find ways to make this shorter and shorter, and we fail every single time just because we have a lot to say, and there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to dissect. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Definitely, if you stuck around this long, please subscribe down below. Click the subscribe button. If you're listening to this on a podcast, we have a YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on a YouTube channel, we have a podcast. Make sure you go ahead and pay attention. And I'll go ahead and do a quick shout out to Mitch because I believe he is doing a show called Invincible. Mitch, you want to talk really quick about that?
Still doing it, still loving it. If you want a show that shows long-term promise, that's going to be carrying over multiple seasons over an established storyline, tune into Invincible and tune into our review.
Perfect. And that is on our YouTube channel, Dweeb Culture. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate it. And my sign-off is, live long, and may the Force be with you. Have a good rest of your day, guys.
Later, guys.
Later.